Well, this is being at 383. I'm gonna have to talk to you guys about this. So, about the Colorado, my good and bad reviews I had to point out, but a lot of stuff. Even though from the fact the wheels and stuff and tires, I'm gonna have to get a programmer, something like that. And another thing I'm gonna have to mention is that a lot of this upgrade stuff, I'm gonna point out that is a issue and stuff. A lot of people are probably going to ask me about it, and they're probably going to say what's wrong with it and stuff. There's nothing wrong with it, but I have to say this. My good and bad reviews about it is, if you want to gain horsepower and finding parts of this thing, they are really hard to find. If you go to rough country and stuff, they don't really carry parts for, like, I guess, two-wheel drives and stuff. And a lot of the other things I'm going to point out is, these tires were easy to come by, but it's just, I'm going to tell you about the leveling kit, what I have up in here. It's, these here Gabriel, not, Ultras in the rear, all of what those are in the rear. The front are space struts, and space struts are doing pretty good, but not really much of an issue with them. But the other thing I'm going to point out, for the fact that when it's coming to lifting components and stuff, that's kind of hard to find. It cost me about $130 for this welding kit. And another thing I'm mentioning is, I don't know what to say about this, but I think there's something I really want to do. But it's like the leaf springs in the rear. This one probably may drop that down a little bit more, but I don't really probably want to fool with that too much. But something else I'm wanting to point out, and what I'm going to say is the issue I've mentioned. Steering columns, you can find them, but most parts, they're not easy to find on performance or, I guess, regular parts. It's like when you look at buying throttle body, both are hard to find. Throttle body spacer, color intakes, you can find them a little bit easier, but brakes and stuff, you can find them. And taillights, you can find them, but taillights and stuff, they're hard to find, depending on which one you wanting. But the halos and stuff, I actually found this out, but the problem with these headlights, the ones at the bottom, I actually found out those are halos. They're halos, but the fact of what I'm saying by that, these are like HID lights. That's what I found out. And they had to take some kind of weird adapter you have up in them just to operate these. It's some kind of box for both sides of them to operate it. You can get it attached to HID to it. And another thing I'm going to point out, what was really hard to find, is that for the fact that wheels and tires, get a programmer for that to set it in your computer. That is something that's really hard to find, because of when you're wanting to get a tuner for these, you're kind of really limited. It's like the 1500s, you're easy to find parts for them. 2500 Chevrolets and up, those are easy, like Tahoes and all of them. Rams, they don't really probably have as many problems as much as I do, because of small trucks or small cars, they probably may have harder parts to find. Not kidding, but depending on what you're looking for and stuff. But another thing I'm pointing out, even though the WeatherTech floor mats, you can find them for these small trucks, and next it's like big covers. Big covers, you can find them. Toppers, you can. It's a bit to name off, but depending on what you're looking for, meaning performance, the main things I'm able to do is like supercharge it. I could do that. Probably pro charge it, turbo charge it, radiator, and programmer, and dual exhaust. But that's about it, I guess. And then cold air intake is something you could do, but, and I don't know how to say this, but this gets my opinions and facts on this. And a lot of people say that, oh, cold air intakes don't really work. My question is about a cold air intake. And a lot of people say that you like a standard vehicle. I don't like standard vehicles because here's the reason why I'm saying that. A lot of things about your motor, it's so restrictive, meaning when you keep them standard, they don't do as good. Standard vehicles are kind of slow, but they don't really breathe as like they should. It's stock, but the one thing I mentioned, what I've really done, I really wanted to show you guys this. This is something I went ahead and did. Because like I deleted like the hot air from the cold air, and somehow from this, when you usually delete the hot air from the cold air, it usually can help your fuel economy out a bit more. It's actually a good thing when you delete this thing off. That's what I went ahead and did. It's like still a standard, but it's like for real, kind of like a little bit more. But I'm not one of them guys who wants to keep standard stuff up in the engine, because standard stuff goes out and it goes bad. And you know what? Buying a new vehicle, good things, bad things I'm going to point out by this. Standard vehicles, there's only so much you can do to them if you have a warranty, because warranties, they just don't really want to do very much like you want them to. Like other people, they say when you have a warranty, you want to keep your warranty, but you know what? I would not want to have a warranty with a lot of junk parts in them. Even a mechanic out there, Stacy Davis, if he saw half this stuff, the one thing I'd probably mention, he'd say is this: one, place a standard radiator, because of, it's like this one holds up to about 15 psi, and diesels you have more psi, but for the fact of this one, this radiator, I'm not kidding. Some of this standard stuff, you cannot really see the true power behind it. It's like, this you probably could, because delete off the hot air. And then next, other thing I'm going to point out is that if I take out this, it'd be breathing better, and part of it, it's just, you kind of know the difference between that and there's the engine, but something on the side of it, I think that might be your exhaust. Like, I guess something about your exhaust system, I guess, right there. It's kind of hard to see, but the other thing I'm pointing out, for the fact that a lot of these fans and stuff, you could probably find them, and then there's an electrical system in here. That little dark blue adapter, that there is a lighting thing that I found, and part of it, when I say that it's a ripoff about this, it's just, those are HID adapter lights. It comes with some kind of box and has a cover for it. I really like these, but the only problem with this is that this stupid wiring right here is just, them parts start to get expensive. It's just, Oxbeam, they're really good brands. They have good quality lighting. But a lot of this other stuff I'm pointing out, because one guy even told me this, it's like another way you can get performance is that you do what's recommended for your vehicle. It's like, for real, you get dirt up in your filter and stuff, loss of power, loss of fuel economy. Another thing I'm going to point out is that when you have your radiator and stuff in there, you don't flush it. You don't flush your radiator. Another thing I'm going to point out, you don't flush your radiator, is that it takes longer for the vehicle to heat up. And you will kind of notice that. And another thing I'm pointing out that's a big common issue is that a lot of people, they prefer to keep your vehicle standard and stuff, but really a lot of things I'm pointing out that can help you gain performance is that a lot of people don't like Vortec. They say take that off, and there's your throttle body. But another thing I'm pointing out, even though Scotty Kilmer said that if this mass flow sensor adapter goes bad, it's probably gonna be bad mileage and stuff. Bad mileage in my fuel economy and stuff. So another thing I'm pointing out is, you know, it's like headers that could help out how your engine breathe better. But for the fact of this one, I really don't know what else to point out. But this little cover on here, if I could do bigger headers, they could be a little bit better. on performance, but still, when you find headers for these Colorados, that is one big problem you really cannot find with a small engine. Small engines like these, they're hard to find parts for, and they're tough trucks. And another thing I really kind of have to mention, these trucks, they could pull a V8 like it was nothing. I saw one of these trucks on YouTube before pull a V8, and you know, for me, I went ahead and bought a Tornado supercharger that you put up in your stock box. Is right up in here. It actually helps out because of one, more airflow, and part of it, it's getting a little bit more horsepower and stuff too. But they use supposed to spin. And another thing I'm going to point out, that a lot of these valve covers and stuff, my other thing I'm going to have to point out is, why would they have a valve cover? It has like so much of a gap in between it. And next, the valve cover, my other bad reason why I don't like the valve cover is because of, you're not really getting as much airflow to your maxwell sensor like you should. And part of it, it's just, you could probably stick something down here and it just go pointing down. I've like tried that myself and see if I could go ahead and connect something to here, to, like your throttle body, and this part of you coming straight up to here. But the only thing I'm going to point out is certain intakes and certain filters, the ones I really just say I do not recommend to get would have to be a Spectrum. Spectrum is junk. And another thing I'm going to point out about Spectrum, the other issues is Spectrum, you had to disconnect your standard stock box and all that other stuff. And if I were you guys, do not go with Spectrum. If I were you, go with aerated K&N, because of they're reusable and they're cleanable. And also, California has like a strict laws on you know, about your exhaust and stuff, about your catalytic converter and things. And then it's like catalytic converters, the reason why I say you want to have them on if you live in California is that they say that carb and stuff gets up in it. Carb, I'm not kidding, it's really serious because of the effect of carb. It's like not having a muffler too. If they said that you didn't have a muffler or anything, I'd probably say I'd keep a muffler on them. But I'd probably go with a good muffler. That'd probably run 2 catalytic converters, so the way they can just get off my case on that garbage and stuff. So, and when it's coming to mud flaps, those are easy to find, but the ones I had on here, I took them off, but that was because of rust and stuff. But now I understand this. It's like, you know, now it's snowed and stuff. I'm probably gonna have another video coming up. I don't know what it's gonna be about, but well, I had another video I was gonna upload the other day. I guess like, comment, subscribe, and I guess you guys have a